So the goal of our project was to determine if grocery prices and rents exhibited correlation. Um, we split our analysis into six different parts to determine this. Next slide.
Right. Um, this is the grocery data that we downloaded. We had to clean this data so that we could just limit it to the zip codes in Salt Lake City, and the we had to standardize the names. Here's some of the code that we used to standardize the um, names of the stores. We chose 11 stores because they had all of their grocery prices online. Yep. This is the correlation heat matrix that, or sorry, the correlation matrix heat map that we used. We can see that this is going to kind of support the rest of our findings where there's not really a large relationship between rent prices and grocery prices.
So this is the results for our statistical analysis. Here we found that for the correlation that there wasn't statistically significant values, and this was proven by the confidence interval. And this was also the case when comparing higher rent groups with lower rent groups.
So for the linear regression, this is the rent versus grocery index, which shows a pretty weak downward trend, as the rent did not change significantly as grocery prices changed within individual stores. For the next one, it becomes the zip index versus the grocery index, which includes the zip index is the combination of all of the grocery indexes for one zip code, which has a much higher positive trend, and it is statistically significant. For the rent price versus grocery index, or the zip index, this one has a pretty weak trend um, as changes in the zip index, which is the total grocery prices, do not have significant changes in rent, as it only decreases by $128 as zip index increases.
Here we have some heat maps of the zip codes and their grocery index versus their rent, and then a ratio of the two. As we're looking at all three of these, we can see that there isn't really much of a relation. We would expect that they were more similarities if there was a stronger relationship.
Overall, we weren't able to find a reliable correlation between rent and grocery prices because our data set was really small and the rent is determined by more factors than just grocery prices. In order to improve this, we need to add more socioeconomic factors.